If you were president, what would you be doing about Iran beginning tonight?
Well, you can go back and look at my history. 8 years ago, I suggested and actually pushed forward and passed a bill to fund the pro-democracy movement, to impose very tough sanctions on the Iranian government, to use all sorts of covert activity and working with other interests in the region to try to dismantle and slow down the process of developing these weapons. But the main thing that has to be done is we need to do what President Obama was very willing to do in Egypt and Libya, but seems reticent to do in Syria and Iran, those two connected states, which is to support the pro-democracy movement in those countries. The president was willing to jump in bed with the Muslim Brotherhood in Libya and in Egypt, but has actually sided originally with Syria in this struggle by recognizing them as a government for the first time in many, many years, put an embassy in place in Syria, and of course during the elections in 2009, when the Green Revolution was sparked in Iran, he sided with Ahmadinejad and the mullahs. Again, if you're an enemy of the United States, you're probably, you're going to get very nice treatment from Obama, but if you're a friend, you're going to get thrown under the bus.
And I think I actually heard, Speaker Gingrich say something much like that tonight. But I'm curious, if you take Egypt, Israel has been very worried about what would happen with the so-called pro-democracy movement in Egypt. They almost now would have preferred to have kept Mubarak. It's like even the so-called pro-democracy movement has not been a sure thing for us at all, or for the world.
Well, the pro-democracy movement in this case was up against a, quote, and I'm putting quotes around pro-democracy movement, was up against an ally of Israel, an ally of the United States, a friend for many years of which we've had strong relationships. Certainly was no saint, but the pro-democracy movement, quote, we knew the strongest civil group, the civil society group, if you will, in the country of Egypt was the Muslim Brotherhood. They were the main opponent to the regime in Egypt, and there was certainly wide speculation that not only were they involved in the quote pro-democracy movement, but they were certainly poised to benefit from a toppling of the regime because of the tremendous work that they had done in developing schools and educating the public. Egypt had become much more radicalized because of the Muslim Brotherhood over the years. And here we are, the president who knew that, or should have known that, as to what Egypt was really up to and what the Muslim Brotherhood and these quote pro-democracy forces were up to. He should have realized, he should have known what was coming in after Mubarak, and he still acted to throw Mubarak under the bus and take that risk. And now we see that risk come to fruition, and not only with the Muslim Brotherhood and the hostility toward Israel, but the persecution, the rampant persecution of Coptic Christians in Egypt.